Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my July TBR. Now, as you would have already seen, I've got Jane Austen July, so that's going to be a big half of it. So you're not going to see as many books in this. You've obviously got the TBR jar, I've got my buddy reads, and I've got my series books. I think there's only 2 other books plus a book that I'm reading for a book tour. So I thought I'd show you that as well. And obviously this gives me flexibility that hopefully I'm not going to have too many books and I can then mood read for the rest of the month. And as at the end of the month, it's going to be the kids are breaking up for the school holidays. That's it. I will give you a heads up that my August TBR will be shorter again, and I'm purely going to be reading books that not necessarily are going to be as challenging, but are going to be books that will help me and keep me going, because it's going to be manic. August is literally the summer holidays the whole time through. It'll be preparing them for September. It will be a busy month. So that's that. But July, first half, no kids. Second half, kids. So hopefully I'll have some fun and I'll get through it all. And let's show you the books, because I'm really excited by them all. Now, I'm thinking, actually, I've decided I'm going to mix things up. I want to find out what the TBR jar is going to pick for me first. Then I'll show you the other books. So let's go with the TBR jar. Also, heads up for my wrap-up part 2, TBR jar was nice in June, and the fact that I'm enjoying June's TBR jar book. So let's see if, let's go. I don't know what I'm going to pick. Okay, so there you go. Dun dun dun. Let's open it up. Haha, the TBR jar's been evil. I've got Ashes of London, which is probably one of my biggest books. It's also one of my biggest books that was going to be on that. But it's a book that I wanted to get off my TBR shelf anyway. This is massive. Although I say it's massive, it looks big, but it's actually less than 500 pages. So it's not actually as big as I thought it would be. This is set, I bought this last year, or the year before even. London 1666, the Great Fire of London consumes everything in its path. A body of a man is found in the ruins of St Paul's Cathedral, stabbed in the neck, thumbs tied behind his back. A woman on the run. And then the woman on the run, James Marwood, son of the traitor, is forced to find the killer through the city's devastated streets. He then encounters a determined young woman who will stop at nothing to secure her freedom. This could actually be exciting. So although it's scaring me because it is probably one of my biggest books, it's a book that I've had on the TBR shelf for a while and I've wanted to get off. So let's get to it. Let's give it a go. Maybe the TBR jar's not been as evil as I thought. And I'm just going to turn my angle around because I'm just realising the sun's probably not in the best angle. So, now, TBR jar's not been too bad this month. Got some good ones left over, actually. Let's go for it. Let me show you the buddy reads. And show you. So, the first one, obviously, I'll be starting off the month with a buddy read that I'm doing with the lovely Chloe from Chloe Reads Books. How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. Now, this is a reread for me, so it's going to be counted as my reread. My sister Charlie bought it for me for my 40th a couple of years ago, but I've read it once and I wanted to reread it again because I've now read a lot more of Matt Haig's work. This is a bit of a sci-fi. How many lifetimes does it take to learn how to live? Tom Hazard has a dangerous secret. He may look like an ordinary 41-year-old history teacher, but he's been alive for centuries. From Elizabethan England to Jazz Age Paris, from New York to the South Seas, Tom has seen it all. As long as he keeps changing identity, he can stay one step ahead of his past and stay alive. The one thing you must not do is fall in love. This is quite a good one. If I remembered it rightly, this is quite good. So I'm quite happy with that. I can't wait to reread it with Chloe, see what Chloe thinks of it. Then I've got my buddy read. This is not in order, by the way, of what I'm reading in the month. My buddy read with Leo, my second buddy read with Leo, which is Instructions for a Heatwave by Maggie O'Farrell. Now, Maggie O'Farrell has been a bit hit and miss with me, but this is set in July 1976. Which was the year my parents got married. So this is I think the main reason I bought it. And it's set in London in the grip of a heat wave. It hasn't rained in months. The gardens are filled with aphids. Water comes from a standpipe. Robert Riordan tells his wife Greta that he's going round the corner to buy a newspaper, then doesn't come back. The search for Robert brings Greta's children, 2 estranged sisters and a brother, and the brother on the brink of divorce, back home, each with different ideas as to where their father might have gone. None of them suspects that their mother might have an explanation that even now she cannot share. This looks really good, actually. This probably looks like it's one of, I think from what I've gathered, this is actually one of the Maggie O'Farrell's better books. and it's short and sweet. Can't wait to read it with Leo. I'm really looking forward to this. Another one I'm so looking forward to, Angie from Science Mama is running she's got like a book club thingy. So this is, I say it's a buddy read, but it isn't so much because it's a group read she's going to be reading. So I can read it whenever I want. And this is again like a warmy summary book. For years, rumours of the Marsh Girls have haunted on the Barnsley coast and the quiet town on the North Carolina coast in late 1969 when Chase Andrews is found dead. And locals immediately suspect Chloe Clark, the so-called Marsh Girls, but Chloe Clark is not what they say. Now Chloe's read this and thinks that I'm going to really like it. It's one I've been desperate to get to, so I cannot wait. It's another one I'm really excited by. So that's that one. I'm reading that whenever, so I like the fact I can read that. Now this one has been on my shelf a little bit, but I've since been told that it's part of a series, but I think I might have read it, but I'm not sure if I have. Yeah, I've read this, but under a different title. But I don't mind, because it's got a different title, I can reread it. And you'll know why. This is going to be starting off the month. Sometimes I think being a reader is kind of part of a special club. Like, we know there's nothing better than curling up with a good book in front of the fire. And this is the first in a series, and there's 3 books in the series. I've read the second one, and like I said, I think I read the first one, but under a different name. So it's not going to count as a reread. And this is a book about readers. So it's a perfect Jenny Colgan. I don't think me and Gemma have actually read a contemporary book together. So this is a book, and this is about the book about her own. Nina's going to run her own little bookshop, and it's brilliant. It's set in the Scotland. Brilliant book. If it is what I think it is, it's fantastic, and it's one I'm really excited about. Not too long. Really excited. Perfect summer book. And then lastly, the book that obviously, by the way, I forgot to tell you, obviously will be carrying on my reads of War and Peace, which is just under here, and Family Parsonage, which is just here. I will be carrying on those books. War and Peace is over 3 months, and Family Parsonages will be finished in July. And the next book, big book, which I'll be reading over June and July, no, July and August, is the Karamazov Brothers. I'm buddy reading this with the lovely Charlie from Charles Heathcote. It is a mahoosive book, over 800 pages. He has got the plan. I can't remember how we're going to be reading it over 2 months, but it's a book that I'm really excited about. I loved my book on Dostoevsky, so I didn't like Crime and Punishment as much, but I believe this is really good. As Fyodor Karamazov awaits the amorous encounter, he is violently done to death. The 3 sons of an old debauchee are first forced to confront their own guilt or complicity. Who will own to parasite? I don't know. This book I got sent as a birthday present by, I think Gemma sent me this. I can't remember. Have I got it somewhere? No, Chloe sent me this my birthday. That's it. Chloe or Gemma sent me this my birthday. I think it was Chloe. Sorry if I've got this wrong, but this is a book that I'm really excited about. Yeah, it was Chloe actually. So really excited to read that. Now the next books are 2 books that I'm reading for my series goal, and 2 that I'm really excited about. The first one is Wedding Bells in War. So this is actually the only one that I've not read, and it's the next in the series. This would have been the series end, only to find out that A Mother Forever, which is a prequel to this series, my daughter gave it to me for my birthday, so that will be the one that will end the series. It's an Elaine Everest. It's her newest book out. I think Chris got me this last year as a sort of a treaty book. So it's July 1947. Britain is still gripped by rationing. So the war's finished, but it's still gripped by rationing. Engagement. The excitement of the Princess Elizabeth's engagement sweeps the nation. In Walworth's canteen, Frida is dreaming of meeting her own Prince Charming. When she has an accident on a motorbike, knocking a cyclist off his bicycle, it seems bad luck is following. Anthony is not only a fellow Woolworths employee, but an Olympic hopeful. Will his injured leg heal in time to compete? Will he ever forgive Frida? And then Sarah's idyllic family life is under threat with worries about her husband Alan. Does he still love her? This looks really good. Cannot wait to read it. So excited. I may well start the month with this, but I never start the month with that one because I know that I'm going to start the month with my biggest book, which is The Berlin Inheritance. I've not read this. I just literally finished The Other Berlin Girl. This is more about Jane Boleyn, who was Anne Boleyn's sister-in-law. So the year is 1539. Henry VIII must take another wife, and it has the Dangerous Prize, which is won by Anne of Cleves. So I know Anne of Cleves' stories, I've read her. Catherine Howard, meanwhile, is trying to float her way back to the throne, but her kinswoman Jane Boleyn is haunted by the past, and a Boleyn inheritance is suspicious betrayal and death. Cannot wait to read this. This is one I'm actually really excited about. So it's about 500 odd pages. Really excited about that. I know that I'm going to start the month with this because I like to get my biggest books over and done with at the start of the month. But it's one that I'm really excited about, and it's the next in the series, so I'm loving my Philippa Gregory. Sorry about this. Then I've got a book that I'm reading for a book tour. The lovely guys at Red Door Press sent me this. One last question. I think, Charlie, you're going to like this. Charlie, my friend, BookTube Charlie. It's about older men, which is, Charlie's an old man. He always describes himself as an old man. Will, a charismatic bunny incendiary Will, has died. This means that this year's boys' weekend with old schoolmates will be very much awake, as much of awake as an annual excuse to cut loose and behave like 18-year-olds again. But he has left his long-standing friends a parting gift, one last brain melter, the infamous pub quiz he used to devise every year to break up the fact of drinking during the annual trips. Will they finally pluck up the courage to play his video? Will's questions turn out to be a lot more challenging than usual, tough enough to test their bonds to breaking point. Really excited by this. When they put down that they were offering this as a read along, I just was desperate for this. I can't wait. I can't wait to read that. But I think I'm starting the month with that as well, because I've got my date for when my blog post has got to go up. So I'm really excited about that. And now the last two books. This is a lovely short sweet video. This is what's good about breaking up my 500 Miles From You by Jenny Colgan. This was out in paperback this year. It is the third in that series, the Jenny Colgan series. So I've got to read the first Jenny Colgan book, and then I'll read this towards the end of the month. They live 500 miles apart, yet their lives are about to collide. Lisa loves her job as a nurse, but recently she's been doing a better job of looking after other people than looking after herself. Don't we all do that? Overwhelmed by a traumatic incident at work, she agrees to swap lives with someone in a quiet village of Scotland, which is where Nina and that lot are, not up in Scotland. Just out of the army, Cormac is desperately in need of distraction, and there's pressure to listen in Kieran Reith. Maybe 3 months in London is just what he needs, so I'm guessing they're swapping places. Could be like the Switch. I think it's kind of like the Switch in the Beth O'Leary, but the Switch. But as Lisa and Cormac warm to their new lives, emailing each other back and forth about everything, things finally seem to be falling into place. But each of them is about to feel that there's a place missing. So yes, this is a book. It's the next one after Bookshop on the Shore, which I loved. And this is that one. So I can't wait. It's a summary book, just what I need. And then lastly, a summary book that I've had on my shelves for ages. I bought it last year, but because it looks summary, I've had to hold off till the summer. And that's The Beach Cafe by Lucy Diamond. I love Lucy Diamond's works. It's very easy contemporary, very summary, just what I need. But the only problem is it's massive. It's nearly 500 pages. I've really set myself some goals this month. Evie Flynn has always been the black sheep of her family, a dreamer, a drifter, unlike her overachieving elder sisters. Oh, it's siblings! I didn't know that! Yay! She tries to make a name for herself as an actress, a photographer and a singer, but nothing's ever worked out. Now she's stuck in a tent from hell with a sensible pension-building boyfriend. Life seems to be passing her by. Then her beloved Aunt Jo dies suddenly in a car crash, leaving Evie an unusual legacy on her precious beach cafe in Cornwall. Yes, this is perfect! Determined to make a success of something for her first time in her life, Evie heads off to Cornwall to get her cafe and her life back on track. And it gets even more than she's bargained for, both in work and in love. Okay, you guys know I like reading my contemporary books at bedtime. This will be starting the month. This is another one that I'm going to be starting the month with. So I'm thinking that one I could start the month with. What other ones have I got there? And then towards the end of the month I can read that contemporary. And I can read the others in between. And I can maybe read my Jane Austen. Jane Austen in July, that's going to fit in because I know for a certain, I think Sense and Sensibility might be able to be read in the evenings because I think that's quite an easy one. But I'm really excited by these books. I've smashed it. June's going really well. I think July is full of books that I'm excited about. I know, just to give you an advance notice, that in August I will be reading The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary because I bought it and I can't wait any longer to read it. I know Paige Toon's book's coming out at the end of June, and so of course I'll be reading that in August, because that way I can show it in my July TBR for my August TBR, so that's going to be read. So those are 2 contemporaries that I'm going to be reading. I've got a fair few other summary books. I am just going to go for it. I'm going to read summary books, whether they're historical fiction. I am just mixing it up and going what I love. My tri-chapter tag's going really well because it's getting books off my shelf that I wouldn't otherwise read. So they're mixing up. I've got some great books. I'm super excited about July's books now. Really excited. So mixing Jane Austen July with these is just going to be, please let me not have tempted fate. Anyway, guys, let me know what you're reading in July. Are you taking part in Jane Austen July? Have you got any other readathons?